LG Electronics Incorporation is a South Korean multinational electronics corporation with its headquarters in Udo-dong, Seoul, South Korea. As the group's chemical and battery branch, LG Chem, LG Electronics is a part of LG Corporation, the fourth largest conglomerate in South Korea. It consists of four business divisions, which is home entertainment, mobile communications, home appliance and air solution, and also automotive components. Zenith was purchased by LG Electronics in 1995, and the firm is now the biggest shareholder in LG Display, which will be the largest display company in the world by revenue in 2020. In addition, LG Electronics is the world's second largest TV manufacturer after Samsung Electronics. 83,000 people are employed by the company's 128 operations across the globe.
Hi, my name is Nur Afza Bibi binti Zulkifli. I'm from class MBF 2C. First, I will explain about background company Panasonic Manufacturing Malaysia Berhad. Panasonic is one of the well-known business in Malaysia. Most of people in Malaysia choose to Panasonic brand name as the one of the most popular and reliable brands for electrical home equipment. Company Panasonic adhere to the philosophy of ideas for life and also sales center that support the export and domestic market that continues to grow. Company Panasonic started the operation in Malaysia in 1996, being marketing, sales, and service of electronic components and factory automation, service to Malaysia electronic manufacturers.
Samsung Electronics was incorporated under the law of the Republic of Korea in 1969 and listed its share on the Korean Stock Exchange in 1975. Samsung Electronics operates as a subsidiary of Samsung Group, is a manufacturer of consumer electronic and device solution. The company's product portfolio including television, washing machine, network service, and digital cameras. It also manufactures LCD LED panels and smartphone. The company has its operation in America, Europe, Africa, the Middle East, and ASEAN Pacific.
Sharp Corporation, founded in 1912 by Takuchi Hayakawa, is a Japanese multinational electronics corporation that has been producing various products since its inception. After the war, Sharp resumed consumer electronics production and introduced groundbreaking products like the world's first all-transistor calculator, the Sharp CS10A. Today, Sharp remains a prominent player in the global electronics industry, known for its commitment to quality and technological innovation.
Using the formula current assets divided by current liabilities, we have calculated the current ratio for all four companies that we choose. Based on the ratio calculation, it is shown that LG Electronics Incorporation has shown its ability to pay its short-term obligation on time from year to year, as it shows an increase from 1.15 times in the year of 2020 to 1.16 times in 2021 and 1.23 times in the year of 2022. Meanwhile, Panasonic has shown the higher current ratio is in the year of 2020 with 4.55 times to 4.38 times in 2021 and 4.21 times in 2022. As for Samsung, the higher current ratio is in the year of 2022 with its ratio is 2.79 times compared to the year 2021 with 2.48 times, and the previous year 2020 shows the current ratio is 2.62 times. Lastly, Sharp Corporation has shown its ability to pay its short-term obligation, as it shows an increase from 1.25 times in the year of 2020 to 1.34 times in 2021 and 1.52 times in the year of 2022. Based on all the company's current ratio analysis for the past 3 years, LG Electronics and Sharp incorporation has shown consistent improvement as the current ratio are increasing from the year of 2020 to 2022. Meanwhile, Panasonic Manufacturing Malaysia Berhad has shown a decrease in its current ratio as it first started with its current ratio in quite a good number but continued to decrease for the next 2 years. As for Samsung, the current ratio shows a decrease from the year of 2020 to 2021, but it managed to raise its current ratio in the year of 2022. With the formula of current asset minus by inventories and divide with current liabilities, the quick ratio calculation shows that there is a derivation in the year of 2021 compared to the previous year, which is the year of 2020, with the ratio of 0.78 times. However, LG Electronics managed to reflect the ability to pay its short-term obligation without relying on inventories and prepaid expenses, with the ratio of 0.81 times in the year of 2022. As for Panasonic, the quick ratio shows that it is slightly less liquid in 2020 compared to 2022, as it indicates low ability of a firm to pay off its current obligation with the most liquid assets. Quick ratio in 2020 shows it is 4.09 times compared to 2022 with 3.61 times. Quick ratio for 2021 is 3.95 times. Samsung has shown its quick ratio in 2020 with 2.20 times compared to the quick ratio in 2021 shows 2.01 times. And for 2022, it is 2.12 times. Meanwhile, Sharp quick ratio in 2020 is 0.91 times, and the year of 2021 with 1.05 times and 1.14 times in the year of 2022. Based on the quick ratio calculation, LG and Sharp managed to reflect its ability to pay its short-term obligation without relying on inventories and prepaid expenses from year to year. But Panasonic has shown the company is relying on its inventories and prepaid expenses to pay its short-term obligation because the quick ratio is constantly decreasing for the past 3 years. Meanwhile, Samsung has shown a decrease in its quick ratio from the year of 2020 to 2021 but managed to increase it for the year of 2022. Using the formula of total liabilities divided by total assets and multiplied by 100 to get the percentage, LG Electronics Incorporation has shown a better performance in its amount of debt to finance assets by the reduction of the debt ratio over the years, from 63.60% in the year of 2020 to 62.42% in the year of 2021, and finally 59.22% in the year of 2022. As for Panasonic, the debt ratio in 2020 is the lowest for the 3 years, which is 16.40%, and the highest is in 2022, which is 16.62%. On leverage ratio, the lower the ratio, the better. In 2021, the debt ratio for Panasonic is 16.44%. After calculating Samsung debt ratio, in 2022, it shows the ratio of 20.89%, and the highest is in 2021, which is 28.53%. In 2020, the debt ratio is 27.04%. Lastly, Sharp debt ratio in 2020 is 85%, and in 2021 it is calculated as 81% and continue to drop for the year of 2022 with 76%. As for conclusion, LG and Sharp is showing good performance in its debt ratio as it continues to reduce the ratio over the years. But Panasonic has shown quite a disappointing performance as the debt ratio is increasing for the past 3 years. As for Samsung, their debt ratio has increased from the year of 2020 to 2021, but they managed to reduce it for the year of 2022. With the formula of operating income divided by interest expenses, the calculation shows that LG Electronics Incorporation can meet loan charges and lower the risk of default in the year of 2022, with a ratio of 27.84 times and 28.34 times in the year of 2021. However, the time interest earned for LG Electronics Incorporation dropped in the year of 2022 with the ratio of only 17.19 times. High ratio reflects that Panasonic is able to meet its annual interest costs with its operating income. This company time interest earned for the year of 2020 is 0.70 times, but it dropped in the year of 2021 with a ratio of 0.62 times, and for the year of 2022 it is calculated as the highest of its time interest earned with 2.45 times. As for Samsung, the time interest earned for the year of 2020 is 3.62 times, and it rose to 3.84 times in the year of 2021 and 4.071 times in the year of 2022. Lastly, Sharp Corporation time interest earned in the year of 2020 is 7.88 times, and in 2021 it is calculated as 13.06 times, and it finally is calculated as 21.19 times in 2022. Based on the ratio calculation for all four companies, LG shows that they can meet the loan charges and lower the risk of default for the first 2 years, but their performance dropped in the year of 2022. As for Panasonic, their time interest earned is dropped from the year of 2020 to 2021, but they managed to increase its ratio in 2022. Lastly, Samsung and Sharp both have shown an impressive performance in its time interest earned as the ratio is continued to increase over the years.
Hi, my name is Nur Afza Bibi binti Zulkifli. I from class MBF 2C. First, I will explain about background company Panasonic Manufacturing Malaysia Berhad. Panasonic is one of the well-known business in Malaysia. Most of people in Malaysia choose to Panasonic brand name as the one of the most popular and reliable brands for electrical home equipment. Company Panasonic adhere to the philosophy of ideas for life and also sales center that support the export and domestic market that continues to grow. Company Panasonic started the operation in Malaysia in 1996, the marketing, sales, and service of electronic components and factory automation, service to Malaysia electronic manufacturers. Next, I will explain about total assets turnover. Based on this graph, as for company LG has shown improvement from 1.31 times in 2020 to 1.31 times in 2020, increased to 1.38 times in 2021, and increased to 1.51 times in 2022. Meanwhile, for company Panasonic, show total assets turnover 1.08 in 2020, decreased to 1.00 times in 2021, and 0.95 times in 2022. For company Samsung has shown total assets turnover 0.38 times in 2020, 0.39 times in 2021, increased to 0.42 times in 2022. Lastly, company Sharp has shown total asset turnover 1.24 times in 2020, to 1.25 times in 2021 and increased to 1.27 times in 2022. From four company LG has showing great increment total assets turnover in over the year.
Today, I will present about profitability. These are two ratios: first net profit margin and the second return on asset. Let me explain first about net profit margin in LG Electronics Company. As you can see, the graph is up and down in 2020 until 2022. It showed that LG Electronics struggle managed to increase its income to shareholder. In 2020, it took 3.26% for profit margin but dropped in 2021, but 2022 improved by 2.23%. Next, Panasonic ratio. In this graph has shown top over the year. In 2020, the net profit margin is 11.12%, but in 2020 only took 5.98%. It showed that the company not effective to generate net profit in the company. Furthermore, is Samsung Electronics. It's opposite with Panasonic company that the graph shown increase year by year. The net profit margin increased in 2020 by 18.28% until 2022 by 29.29%. It showed the higher profit margin, the better effective the company in generate their profit. Lastly, Sharp Corporation. This graph also remained the same with two previous companies. In 2020, the profit margin is 0.64%, meanwhile in 2022 is 2.69%. So it's clear the lower net profit margin, the worse effective the company is generate net profit. Now move forward to return on asset. As you can see, LG Electronics become better and keep improve over the year. In 2020, the ratio is 4.28%, meanwhile in 2020 is 2.37%. It shows that the LG Electronics has better performance in its amount of debt to finance its asset. Next is Panasonic. In 2020, the ratio is 11.98%, but in 2022 is 5.68%. It shows that the Panasonic poor performance in earnings. Furthermore, Samsung Electronics. In the graph, we can see the same pattern with Panasonic company, which is become increased. So it showed the poor performance too. In 2020, it took 6.98% and it become increased until 2022 by 12.41%. This company not managed well in its amount of debt to finance its assets. Lastly, Sharp Corporation. This graph also remain constant with two previous companies. The Sharp Corporation has shown worse performance by to only 0.80% in 2020, meanwhile 3.77% in 2022.
Next, I will explain about market ratio. For dividend payout ratio, LG Electronics show that their earning can support the dividend payment with increment of the dividend payout ratio in 2022 with 6.58% to 15.33% in 2021. But it then dropped to 8.36% in the year of 2022. Panasonic Manufacturing Malaysia Berhad showed that the dividend payout ratio in 2022, which is 24.50%, and the lower in 2022 showed that 2.72%. In 2021, it is calculated as 2.74%. Meanwhile, Samsung Electronics showed that the dividend payout is higher in 2022, which is 0.95%, and the lower in 2021 showed that 0.75%. In 2022, it is calculated as 0.92%. And lastly, Sharp Corporation showed that dividend payout ratio in 2022 is higher by 10.32% compared to 2.09% in 2022. It showed that the company retained more earnings. For price-earning ratio, LG Electronics showed that their market price is overvalued in the year of 2022 with a ratio of 17.28 times, decreasing from 8.51 times in 2021, and later increasing in 2022 with a ratio of 8.79 times. Panasonic Manufacturing Malaysia Berhad showed the higher in 2022, which is 21.29 times, the lower in 2022, which is 14.97 times. In 2021, it is calculated as 18.11 times. Meanwhile, Samsung Electronics showed that the price-earning ratio is higher in 2022, shows 0.021 times, and the lower in the year of 2022, which is 0.009 times. In 2021, showed that 0.015 times. Lastly, Sharp Corporation showed that the earning ratio in 2022 is higher by 18.67 times compared to 6.14 times in 2022. It showed that the low earning ratio might indicate the current stock price is low relative earning. For conclusion, LG Electronics reported as a successful year in 2022 with revenue of USD 53.59 billion and an operating profit of USD 2.71 billion. Meanwhile, in the year of 2022, LG Electronics continued to put out great performance with full year sale of USD 63.16 billion. Recording the highest annual revenue in its history. This is a result in the increase of sale by as much as 28.7% over 2022. Operating profit was practically flat at USD 3.27 billion in a 1% decreasing from the prior year. Next is Panasonic Manufacturing Malaysia Berhad. Panasonic Manufacturing Malaysia Berhad as one of the companies to analyse financial position and performance. Most Malaysian families now choose the Panasonic brand name as one of the most popular and reliable brand for electronic home equipment. We have analysed current ratio, quick ratio, debt ratio, time interest earned, average collection period, 30 total asset turnover, net profit margin, return on asset, dividend payout ratio, and also price or earning ratio for this company.
Last part is conclusion for Samsung Electronics is the company reported consolidated revenue of KfW 76.57 trillion, a quarterly high for the 3 months ended December 31 in 2021. It announced total annual sales of KfW 279.6 trillion, such as a new record high. Lastly, Sharp Corporation. Sharp expanded its operation globally. The company products portfolio expanded to include audiovisual equipment, home appliances, air purifiers, and also microwave. Sharp also has continued to develop innovative products and technology like smart home solutions. Lastly, the company aims to strengthen its position in the business-to-business by using markets that provide professional display electronic components and many more.